So, inside Star Citizen patch dispatch 323. Guys, let's watch this and react to it. Just saw it go live, and I'm just curious. What is it that we have to look forward to? Okay, let's hear it.
Alpha 323 is just around the corner, and that means it's time for Patch Dispatch 323, where we run down all the new features and content included in what could be Star Citizen's biggest patch yet.
Come on. What it used to be that they said it was the biggest patch. Now, what could be? No, it's not. It could have been the biggest patch if it had included everything that they eventually took away from it, which was your permanent hangars, the cargo stuff. None of that is here, so no, definitely not. But
so let's just jump right into things.
Okay.
And we'll start with life in the first person. And in 323, life begins with a newly expanded and revamped character customizer, letting you create more dynamic and representative avatars than ever before. A new beginning that will continue to evolve with additional features and options in subsequent patches. Now let's discuss all the major improvements that directly affect your character, starting with the new Mobi-Glass. Now, unlike Eobard Thawne, we've finally killed the Flash, as the new Mobi-Glass finally makes its in-universe debut with a revamped layout and new features like the Health and Contract Manager apps to help you stay alive and find work respectively.
I don't know why they insist with this hologram thing. I mean, if it's the future and you have the tech for it, can't you make something that is not translucent? And, the other thing, moving all the time, they slowed it down a little bit. It used to make you sick. It was like as if you have some neurological disease that the guy could not keep his hand still. But they insist so much with a holographic effect. That's old school. I don't see the point in that anymore.
It also includes the long-awaited and hotly anticipated new Maps app, combining the new Star Map and Interior Map experiences into one unified interface, with an entire host of new functionalities designed to help you find your way through landing zones, space stations, and the entire verse as a whole.
It would be nice if it was true in terms of, do I need a map in my ship? I mean, that's ridiculous. It makes no sense to have a map of my ship. Do I need a map in these space stations that they're all literally the same? No, not really. I guess if you want to include it there. But you know what would have been great? A map of the caves. The damn caves that are enormous, and they are a big part of what little we have in 323 with critters, with animals. Going into a cave, looking for an animal, and not having a map. Can't there be some sort of ecosystem, whatever, anything, something? Give me a map of the things that I need, not of the things that I don't actually need.
Oh, and that work also touches the new lens and visor updates with a great new mini-map that appears now in the upper left corner. Your days of not finding your way around are soon behind you. Unless you're a specific person who won't be named. You know who you are. Of course, when you're traveling through the verse, Alpha 323 has a whole new array of improvements to how you'll interact with the world around you, starting with a revamped player interaction system that's more nimble and custom.
All of this shadowy, grading little thing. I read over there that's like for console, so you have the controller pad. I don't know, maybe that's it, but it looks dated, old, not modern, not clean, neat.
Customizable than ever before.
Not to mention that many of the things you end up clicking on are so damn confusing. Loot, open, which one is it?
Default item actions that let you keep your customizations exactly how you want them. A new shopping interface that streamlines.
Will it actually work? Because last time I checked, it didn't work. In New Babbage, I'll go right now and check it out, but it's been years. There's a jacket, a black jacket that I want to buy there in New Babbage. You cannot do it. I'll check it later, but...
the experience. so you can get what you want and go. And new looting screens to improve your alternate.
This is the worst thing. This, with all of the color and compartments and separating things, why? What's the purpose of all of this? It's so much more forward and simple. The way it is right now in 323, you see the guy with his inventory, you double click on whatever you want to throw into your own pouches and your mag carriers, double click on anything, drop the suit already on it, drop everything wherever you want it. All of this shit. Now, look how complicated it is that you have to open this. Not only is this saturated with graphical nonsense, I have to click then. I open this and then I have to click on these little arrows to look further what's in there.
More violent shot.
Oh, and by the way, guys, whoever you've been consulting with in terms of
new looting screens to improve your alternate.
Whoever you've been consulting with in terms of guns, dual tone guns has not been a thing for almost 30 years now. That's like your 1980s, 1911 semi-automatic 45 that was dual tone cool. It's not been cool for a long time. Heckler & Koch did that for their USP. Fuck, again, 30 years ago, it's not a thing anymore to do dual tone.
More violent shopping experience. And speaking of which, there's lots of new improvements to the way you bring first-person murder-death-kill to your fellow citizens in the verse, including scope
Demolition Man
magnification updates, ammo repooling and backpack reloading.
That's okay, the backpack.
ADS tuning, and the new dynamic crosshair on specialized helmets so you can fire straight from the hip in game, and not just from the comfort of your YouTube comments. And your first-person life doesn't end there, because Alpha 323 allows you to take the fight to zero G with the newly revamped EVA mechanics, changing the way you traverse the verse outside your spacecraft and vehicle. And speaking of your
looks nice in third person, but on first person, actually using it,
spacecraft or vehicles, the Alpha 323 season also includes new ways to house, load, and launch your ships with the new personal persistent hangars coming to ArcCorp, Hurston, Microtech, and Orizen in a 323X patch that...
Oh, you have no shame whatsoever. It is not in the patch, and you're presenting it? These people are shameless. You're talking about it as if it's already there. It's not. It's not in the patch. What are you even talking about, man?
This quarter, which also includes item banks to grab your stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Vehicle platforms to raise your ship.
This is not there. They're talking about... They're just days away from launching the patch, and this, what they're talking about, does not exist in said patch.
And freight elevators to load them before takeoff.
Stop talking about things you haven't done. It's not there. 323 does not include this.
Of course, once you take off, you'll find a new way to fly with master modes, and a new way to fight with precision targeting and weapon mount and gimbal changes, meaning space combat's got its next evolution in Alpha 323. But what if flying in the PU isn't enough? Or you simply want a safe place to practice the changes? Well, there's a whole host of new maps and experimental modes in Arena Commander 323 that we covered here in detail just last week. Then back in the Persistent Universe and down planet side, you'll find the new distribution centers with a variety of mission and gameplay opportunities for all manner of playstyles, and the added dangers of the Merak and Copian, Star Citizen's first fauna being added to Alpha 323. And how are the Meraks dangerous? Just wait until they add poop mechanics.
Those are the only real... Seriously, those are the only real new things. The building, that this distribution dispatch thing, which is a building. It's a building in a game. Big. Yes, it's easy to make things big in video games. You can make the biggest warehouse ever in video games. Not a problem. A building and two animals that have the worst AI I've seen in any video game so far. It's terrible. It just does nothing at all. They don't behave like animals. I mean, my kid is right now playing Red Dead Redemption. My God, is it really that hard to make something that... Anyway.
Then there's also exciting new technological improvements like our initial implementation of Vulkan, new DLSS, FSR, TSR upscaling, and the new water rendering and simulation tech that will make Star Citizen look even better than ever before. And then under the hood, with the new replication layer split in 323, players no longer connect directly to the game servers and instead to the hybrid service, which hosts the replication layer, which then itself maintains the state of the game. This now means that the loss of a server can be recovered from without the players being disconnected from the game or losing their progress.
At least for me, so far, this has been worse than before. You get that error message, you go nowhere, and not only that, not only do you go nowhere, if you leave the game and try to go back in, it forces you into the same error window thing without any possibility of changing to a different region. So you would go like from US to EU or Asia. No, you're stuck. You have to wait until things recover. Maybe it will work, maybe it will not. I only know one thing, that I was told that part of this new wonderful tech was that everything would persist. You would see ships that had fallen in the past and were there still. No, it all despawns. All of that bullshit that for years they talked about and hyped about, it doesn't exist. Everything despawns. Nothing remains. Have you ever seen anything that surprised you in terms of, oh, wonderful, this dead guy here that got blown up in a fight with someone else and his body is still here? No. It despawns around stations, it spawns in cities, it spawns in everywhere. Nothing persists the way in which they bragged it would.
And sets the stage for multiple game servers sharing a single hybrid replication layer in the server mesh coming online with Alpha 4.0. So all in all, there's more things in Alpha 323 than you can shake a stick at, but there's actually even more, as this branch not only includes all the hangar and cargo improvements we discussed earlier, it also contains the next iteration of Invictus Launch Week, which is actually 2 weeks because we're all super extra here. And we'll introduce a handful of new ships and vehicles folks have been waiting for, as well as...
Right, so... Man, I don't know. I honestly don't know what to say. It's becoming so fucking greedy, so desperately greedy, and we just lie about the things. It's a distribution centers, it's a building, and it's two horrible animals that add nothing to the game. There's nothing new for real, as in new content, new places to go, new planets, moons, cities, new game loops, anything you know. We don't have any. Let's be honest with ourselves at least. If they're going to bullshit us to our faces like they're doing right now, talking about things that they haven't delivered, such as the persistent hangars, which they will not be in 323 when it's out. Oh, it's going to be in the future. Well, how long can we keep on doing that? If you're talking about the patch you are launching, you're about to start playing, you cannot brag about the things it's not including. It all comes down to this, which is more ship sales. All right.
There's one straight-to-flyable that's available with 323 launch. So let's learn more from John, Ben, and Alberto.
Another motorcycle? Really? Okay. Another LTI token, right? Oh.
The Mirai Pulse is Mirai's entry into the ground gravlev bike category.
Is a new racing vehicle from Mirai.
Nope.
It kind of builds on some of their kind of core values as a brand of MISC, focusing more on performance. It takes a lot of inspiration.
Sorry, no, seriously, no. I get it. That's why they have the new referral, by the way, is like what it was, a little 25 buck ship, so that people will spend maybe 10, 15 bucks on whatever the hell they're trying to charge for this. No, stop it, enough.
shall we say, from the Razor, and really kind of shrinks that kind of thrill speed down.
So the role of grav-led vehicles in the game, and especially hover bikes, it allows you to, you've got a mission in mind, perhaps you don't want to risk bringing your ship or larger vehicle right up to it. It allows you to park some distance away, out of radar range, out of line of sight, and then infiltrate stealthily, speedily towards the target location. And of course...
How much can you keep on doing this, pretending there is a need for any of this? No, there's none. There's. It's not that I get it. There's no need for 90% of the ships that we have. I get it. It's about selling stuff and so on. But seriously, there has to be a point in which you say, you know what? We are gonna do a little bit of the actual game, just a little bit, just one little thing for you to play. A little moon, a little city, a little planet, a little system, something for people to go and actually do. And yes, actually go and explore. You have exploration ships and nowhere to take them. You have the same 4 planets that you had for years. And none of it is advancing. Because no one is expecting everything all of a sudden. I mean, for crying out loud, I think we've gone past that point of conversation. But no progress whatsoever. Nothing new, really. Oh, the magic bullshit tech that never changes a damn thing. That and this. I don't know, honestly. How much... The only thing that I wonder is, how much more can they keep doing this? How much shit can backers keep eating until they say, stop it? Enough. Enough with the shilling and the marketing and the bullshitting and lying, constantly lying about things you haven't even actually done. And you're talking as if they're there already. Stop it. It's going to be what... 3-4 more months, and then we're going to be waiting. It's going to be the launch of 3.23.x or .1. And how much more can you keep on doing this until people say, you know what, I'm done? And I'm sure there's people that have different tolerances, but that's the only doubt I honestly have.
As features like weather comes online and more diverse and hazardous biomes such as heavily dense forests, grav-led vehicles, bikes will become more useful as ways to get closer to your target without damaging ships. The Pulse is our smallest ground vehicle. It was a intentional design choice to make something...
Didn't they just have the X1 for the 400i, which, by the way, should come along with a ship? It's kind of embarrassing that it doesn't.
As small and compact and as fast as possible, and Mirai as a brand sort of fits that performance ideology.
It needs to be small. It needs to be small, fast, agile,
yes, and
really
there's a perfect example. It's small, it's fast, until it's not anymore, until they slow it down, and yeah, you're screwed again. You make the mistake of maybe even buying this, and you know what? They make it fast, like they did with little Stevie. Remember Stevie? So the day it comes out, it's the fastest vehicle ever. Couple weeks later, slows down, turtle, and then the new thing is again fast, and then it's slow again, and then whatever is that they're launching that day is fast, and then a few days later it's going to be slow again.
Kind of gives us a much greater opportunity of how the players can really experience that sense of speed on one of our ground vehicles.
So the Pulse comes in 2 flavors. We've got the base version, which comes equipped with a custom laser Gatling on the front. And then you have the LX, which is the dedicated racing version. It loses that front weapon, replaces it with a big intake, you get extra thrusters. So out of all the grav-led bikes, it is one of the most agile there. The reason it's so small and compact is we wanted it to have the most compatibility with all of our other vehicles in game. So by being compact allows you to pretty much stuff it into every single other vehicle in existence in the game.
Size-wise, I think it's just over 2.5 meters in length, so it is tiny. To put that into some perspective, it's a tiny bit longer than 2 SCU of cargo, so it is very small.
I'm sure there will be 1 or 2 vehicles out there where it doesn't fit in, maybe such as the MPUV. But across the board, it's designed to get in a lot of other vehicles. My favorite thing about the Pulse series is just the way we've integrated all the components together into that incredibly tight chassis.
We tried to kind of fuse the idea of a sports bike, but almost, I think they're called like naked bikes. So we wanted it to feel still quite aggressive and quite kind of chunky, almost like a bobber. But we kind of really wanted that sleekness that Mirai and the brand as a whole kind of is known for. One of the, I guess, biggest kind of challenges that our like Alberto and the concept team really had to work on, which then turned our production artists and kind of gave them a few things to scratch their head against, is really fitting all of the ship items and the components.
The team, 1, 2, 5, 10, 100 guys working on the Gravlev bike, whatever it is, I don't know. 5 guys, one person you have, okay, great. Let's say it's 5 people working. Is it really too much to ask to have those 5 guys working on it, actually working on something we can play? I get all of the ship selling stuff, and congratulations on the $500 million or 700,000 billion, whatever it is, $700 million. Congratulations on whatever money you made. I'm not even fucking around. I hope you make $1 billion more. But can we please have a little bit of a game to play? Am I too mean, too salty, too angry? Am I asking too much for DLC equivalent after a year, after 2 years? A new city to go to, a new place to do something new. Not the same thing that we've been doing all along. Not the same old fucking bunker or a larger bunker like these distribution centers. No, a new city, a new moon. Can I ask for a landing station that is... we used to have Port Olisar. That was the only one different. It was replaced by what? A copy-paste of the shit that we already have 20 times over. Really? You couldn't put a couple guys working on it so as to make it a little bit more original. It was the one thing that was different from everything else. Even that was removed and made the same. Come on, just a little bit of respect for the people that make this possible.
Into a vehicle of this size.
As we never did anything so small, new problems come along. I decided to take the same approach of a motorbike. We tried to insert most of the components in what will be the fuel tank, and with this approach we kept the same shape.
I want to know, let me know in the comments section, is it this guy alone working on making this? Let me know in the comments, how many people work in this specific project, the project of the new ship, the new bike they want to sell? How many people do you believe is that they're working on it? I think we deserve that. I think we deserve a little bit more of a game to play. You may think completely different, and I know that the Shills and White Knights and Star Citizen are the worst ever. It's some of the more simpyish bitches in the planet play Star Citizen. It's kind of embarrassing to be a part of the Star Citizen family at times, but I just want to know that. How many people is it? Because I'm sure that with the amount of money that we generously contribute to the project, we could have a little bit more to play. I don't think I'm asking for too much, man. I don't think it's the case.
The main shape of a motorbike. So we have very fluid and soft shapes, palindromal, which means that you can flip it and it looks kind of the same, and then we added the front part just to connect the semiotic of the racing vehicles to this one. We were really tight to the size because it can fit in a container, and that created a huge challenge with how the components move when you actually have to expose them. So that dictated actually the shape we ended up with, and I'm really happy with the final result because you couldn't say probably that inside such a small vehicle there are so many components.
Compared to other Gravlev ground vehicles, the Pulse it trades durability for speed and agility. So compared to say like the Dragonfly and the Hoverquad, which are relatively tanky, not as good there.
The Nox is more tense and definitely bigger. Mirai tries to simplify things a bit. less is more. We try to have a different approach compared to most of racing vehicles and communicate speed through mass and not through aerodynamics, although we keep aerodynamics in consideration for this kind of stuff.
In terms of the Nox and the X1, it is right up there in speed and agility. So they all trade different speed attributes in terms of straight line speed, cornering speed, rotational velocities. And the bespoke weapon on the front of the base model is our first laser Gatling in the game, so we're looking forward to see how that performs.
We'll be able to go to cities and shoot the shit out of, well, that's what? Yes.
So that's the Pulse coming online in 3.23, 2 variants of it. Looking forward to seeing all the different scenarios you're going to get it into.
Did I say it's small? It's really, really small. And goes really, really fast.
Okay, that's good.
See the memes coming.
So what did we learn this week?
You know what I learned? I learned that out of 13 minutes, it's only 6 minutes that you talked about the new patch, 3.23, that includes nothing. It includes the distribution centers, which are all the same, copy-pasted, and the animals. And the rest was talking about things that are not in the patch, such as the permanent hangars, and this is just too much. This is, you cannot expect to insult people this way and not have any kind of pushback. I mean, it's 13 minutes and it's 6 minutes of bullshitting us with a shitty patch that Master Mode, it's just taking back what we already have in terms of the fun and how you can move freely and fast and keep your shields up as you fight or not. It's just a more handicapped version of what we already have. And then it's 7 minutes of an ad. All of this crap about that the new vehicle, it's an ad. It's more advertising for more stuff for people to buy. And people will buy it. I don't know how much more you can keep on doing this. I honestly don't know. Because this is disrespectful. To have an Inside Star Citizen patch, Dispatch 3.23, which out of 13 minutes, it's actually 6 minutes of talking about the patch. And half of what you talked about is not even there when you're going to be releasing it right now, correct? You're going to be releasing it right now, and you're talking about things like the permanent hangars and the car, which is not there. You do not have that. And what you do have is just less and worse than what we already have in terms of flying our ships and doing combat with them. Stop lying to us. Stop kidding to us. This is like Master Modes is slower, is more limited. You have to bring down your shields when you change from these stupid modes. You cannot shoot your guns if you're in nav mode. It is like someone poking your eye out and telling you you're better off now with only one eye because you'll focus more on it, right? You just have one hand now. You only have one hand. We cut off the other one. But now, that one hand, you will focus a lot more energy in learning how to use it better. No, you're just screwing me over and expecting me to like it. And some people will, because there's some of the most simpiest bitches in the planet, they will say it. Yes, just like they say they love seeing more expensive ships in game, and they love how everything, they will love anything you do to them. How much more can you keep on doing this? I don't know. Folks, if you enjoy the transparency, the honesty, and the view of a reasonable person rather than some nut hugger telling you how this is, subscribe and see you later. Leave the comments below. I'd like to check what you guys have to say about this. See you next time.